everybody, it's Trevor, and thank you for coming to my channel, Pioneer Spirit. I appreciate everyone who comes here, likes, comments, and shares, and subscribes. Adds your comment below. I appreciate everyone. I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it again. Freedom of speech is the cornerstone of a civilized society, so you have the freedom to say whatever you want below, and I appreciate that, and thank you for your support. So that being said, I apologize for not making as many videos in the past 10 days. It's currently February 13th, Monday, 2023, and we've had bronchitis in the Pioneer Spirit homestead, so just trying to get over that, and it's difficult to talk, which is something I don't like because I like to talk, and when I have something to say, that's when I really like to talk. So that being said, thank you for coming here, and apologize for not posting as much videos as I should be, as I would like to. But okay, so that being said, I know it's old news, but I just want to point out an example that's happened in Canada, United States here in the past week, and that's the Chinese balloon that flew over North America. And what I call this kind of news, news in air quotes, it's to distract and divert us from what's going on. And the balloon flying over Canada, United States is a perfect example of a again news, air quotes here, news article that's gone on, and it lasts for more than a day. Because typically, I could report on something today, February 13th, and then tomorrow, it's not even relevant anymore. But something like the balloon, it took several days. You've got at least, 4 or 5 days of people looking up in the sky. But that kind of news that we get from the government and corporate media is the perfect example that they use to distract and divert us from what's really going on. So when you have, I really stress this, if you see something like that in the news and it's lasting more than a day, it's something that's it hangs around for up to a week, you've really got to poke around and find out what's really going on in the world. Okay, for example, there's so many examples, but the FBI was wanting to ram through a larger budget for some new infrastructure, which I'm sure it also goes into probably hiring more FBI agents and whatnot. That was being put through. There's also something that popped up in the last couple days, and it coincides with the balloon here, is people are trying to ram through the cold and flu vaccines to be added to what children should get, what they mandate children to get to go to school, like your mumps, your measles. And I'm certainly not anti-vax. I certainly think there are some relevant vaccines out there. I, for one, am due for another tetanus shot. But I don't think that you've really got to look out. You've really got to look out for these kind of things that they're going to ram through, and they're trying to ram through, the cerveza sickness vaccine into children's mandatory vaccinations. Now, I do not subscribe to making anything mandatory. I think everything should be voluntary, and I don't know, I'm 50 years old, and back in my day, kids just got the chicken pox, measles, and I even know I can't use a television show, but the Brady Bunch, they had an episode where all the kids had the measles, and they got it, you wrote it out, something like that. Okay, if they're going to come up with vaccines for things like that, I'm not against that, polio vaccines, but they have to be proven throughout time, okay? And I don't mean just, hey, we've got 6 months of trial here. I think that vaccines are important and should be trialed for many years to come. So there is a list of vaccinations that are on there. I don't want to go on too much about these kind of things, but I do think that adding on they just continue to pile on the list of things kids have. I'm not a big fan of cold and flu kind of vaccinations. As someone who worked in a hospital for 20 years, in departments such as operating rooms, delivery rooms, emergency rooms, I never once had an influenza vaccination. Okay, I never did. If I got sick, I stayed at home. I think more people should try that, but I mean, it should be up to you. If you want to get, a cold and flu vaccination, it should be voluntary. It should also be voluntary to have the list of things that the government tells parents that their kids have to have in order to go to a school. It just continues to grow so much that I'm not surprised more parents, and especially in the last few years, have found out the joy of homeschooling. So, and again, they should put these lists out and go. It should be up to the parents to go. Okay, should we get this vaccination for our kid or not? So, again, these kind of things. It's just one example. Vaccinations, and again, I used like the FPI. You look at. You just got to look at the news in an independent way, and you've got to look at the almost, what's going on in the corporate media, from your Fox, CNN, BBC, CBC, whatever country you're in, these media outlets that are owned by just a few people, and again, they're in bed with politicians. So those kind of media stories, you've really got to go, okay, what's going on in the world? Like, again, I used the balloon one that came up. And then over the weekend, we had some unidentified objects flying over the Great Lakes here, Lake Huron, and again over the Yukon and whatnot. And I guess thank goodness for the Americans, because they came in and had to shoot them down because, I don't know, I guess Canada doesn't have the... I don't know. I don't even know what the heck the fighter jets they have here in Canada, but apparently not good enough to shoot down these objects. So, I find these kind of things are distractions, and they're diverting us from what's really going on. And so when you see these kind of stories, this is what I'm trying. Like I use the vaccinations and there's so much more stories that are going on that you're going to find relevant for you. And you've got to find what's relevant for you. Like some things for me are, I always find relevant for me is what are corporations and politicians trying to ram through under the cover of darkness, really. Okay, for me now, maybe it's you're more into the corporations or more into the politicians or something different, religious organizations, whatever it is for you. You've got to find out, okay, when these stories come out in the media, okay, your corporate government-run medias, these big legacy medias, your Foxes, BBC, CNNs, and all those ones, you've got to dig deep. And this is what I do all the time. I do my best to dig deep and find stories. I do another show, Third Rail Radio podcast, with a good friend of mine from England, Ben Emlyn Jones. We're constantly trying to okay, what's going on in the media? Let's try to dissect it and figure out what's going on behind the scenes. And for you, you've got to figure out what's behind the scenes for you. For me, it's really comes down to mega corporations like your Walmarts, your CR England, Amazon, Teslas. All the mega corporations. Okay, you've got to find out what are they doing with politicians. And for me, the balloon situation was like, oh boy, let's look around here, especially these stories that seem to last more than a few days. And the balloon one was here for, more than a couple days. So you really got to do your digging, and I really ask people here, watch what's going on in the media. Please stop, it's almost like it's I know a lot more people are watching these mega corporate media outlets less and less. So I do enjoy that. I think the freedom of speech for a show like mine here is it's against a cornerstone of a free society is freedom of speech. So I try to bring out uh, news stories that you're just not going to hear in your mega mainstream legacy media. So I don't know. That being said, just please try to find what, like, when these big stories come out, you've got to just sit back and go, okay, you've got to just peruse the internet and find other things that are going on in your neck of the woods, whatever country you're in, whatever region you're in. Look at what, like, again, the mega corporations are doing and what politicians are doing. Look at maybe, whatever the bills that they're trying to pass in, whatever your politicians are in a Congress or a Parliament or whatever. You really got to dig around and find that. Because again, these stories like balloons, it's like every network covering that. It's like, okay, what's going on? They got us looking up. They got us really. That balloon story is a perfect example of distracting and diverting the citizens of whatever country you're in. And they're doing that to get us away from whatever they're trying to put through. So, just kind of I hope this is a good information video that just really, when these stories come up, please, 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 just start digging around the internet and looking at what's going on in your neck of the woods. And just to make sure that, hey, if something comes up, then we have to be more vocal. And that's the solution to that. So when they try to ram through these things, really under the cover of darkness or under the cover of a balloon floating across North America, that's when they're going to try to get these things through. And that's when we have to have a due diligence and keep, holding the coals to the politicians and mega corporation owners' feet. And we really got to, keep an eye on them and see what they're trying to do to us. So, okay, that being said, I hope everyone is having a good day. And I thank everyone again for coming here. I'm really I'm just trying to, clear out what's going on in the world, and giving a completely different perspective that you're going to get from, CNN, Fox, BBC, and CBC. Okay, just using those ones examples, and I appreciate everyone who's coming here, and thank you very much. Okay, I hope everyone's having a good day, and stay free.